spirits of the dead who stood in life before thee are again in death around thee.
What the hell is your problem?
What kind of freaky stuff have you gotten me into?
Nothing!
They all will return to me. Stop me! Help!
Sydney, where are you?
Run for your lives!
We know she isn't dead.
You will not leave this circle. We demand that you speak to us about your intentions.
All that is unknown will be revealed to you.
Mea culpa.
With light, like hope to mortals given.
I will be the last spirit riser!
It's probably past your bedtime.
Past your bedtime.
The supernatural came to Earth one day and left another, all in the form of a young girl. Some knew her as the Spirit Riser.
All right, we're live here at the Station of Decapitation Without Your Head. I'm Nasty Neil, and we're joined by the fine folks of Spirit Riser. We have director Dylan Greenberg.
Hi.
With the Spirit Riser herself, Amanda Flowers.
Yay.
Mr. Lobo, who I'm going to rename Mr. Logo for this show.
Because he made the logo for the movie.
The logo.
Exactly. And Jac Bernhard. Bernhard, I'm sorry. Hello.
It happens all the time.
I'm sorry. I should be more professional. I'm not. So it's a very wild movie, so I don't even know how to ask. Like, can one of you explain sort of what the movie's about?
Well, I could read the official synopsis.
All right.
But I mean, yeah, the basic idea is that, you know, it's two sisters and they're being pursued by this, you know, evil cosmic entity, and it causes this explosion that inexplicably sends one to the other side of America. Oh, hi, Jazz. They have to. One is too young to understand her powers. The other has memory loss, and you know, they both begin to discover that they're not just human beings. They're these entities called spirit risers. And throughout the film, they meet all these characters, and they have to reunite with each other.
It's a very simple movie.
Funny that, like, at its core, I do think it's kind of simple, which is why I think it's so funny that some people are like, this movie literally has, like, no plot. Like, we got this review that was, this movie has, like, no plot. And, like, it kind of does. Like, I do think if you, like, really pay attention, like, there is a pretty clear, actually pretty basic, like, connect, I don't know, like, by numbers, almost like kind of Star Wars hero's journey type story. It's just kind of, you know, I really like surrealism, and that's kind of the world I come from. Hi, Mike. So that's So I'm also like getting comments on Instagram at the same time.
Oh, sweet.
Because I did get it on my Instagram.
Oh,
so that's how. Yeah, I just think it's a mix of the kind of surrealism from the world I come from with actually a pretty, in my opinion, like normal, not normal, but standard kind of hero story. I don't know, sort of an adventure. I kind of was trying to make like an adventure film like the ones you'd see in the 80s, like in some sense, all of it, but
characters, animation, there's all kinds of stuff going on. Creatures.
Yeah, that's true.
Stop motion, puppetry, all sorts of compositing, different sorts of textures, different modes of filming. I always think of Dylan's work as being like a 90s zine as a movie.
Thank you. That's very kind.
I like that. This guy knows his stuff, Mr. Lobo. So, Amanda, how did you get involved? I know you've known Dylan for a long time. And for people who don't know, the movie's taken a long time. You guys have made it over, many years.
Yes. Yeah, we shot both Jack and Lobo scenes were probably shot in, like 2018?
Yeah, and I have gray hair now. That's how long it's been. Since
when we shot it.
I have no hair.
You look amazing, Amanda.
Oh, stop!
And you know what? When we were and when we first started shooting the movie, Neil had a full head of hair.
It's very true. I had long hair, and
you get hair like mine.
Jesus,
we are all living in the post-Spirit Riser era.
Exactly.
By the time this is in the theater,
and Amanda was bald.
By the end of
when we started shooting the movie, you were bald, Amanda. Now you have all this hair. That's how long it took.
Yeah, now it's these pills I take called Mrs. Hair. It grows me hair really long.
And I wasn't even born yet when we started making this movie. I was just to illustrate how long it took. Illustrate how long it took.
Jack and Mr. Lobo, have you seen the finished movie?
I have not seen the finished movie. No.
Yes, sorry.
The fact that I get to see it. Yeah, the fact that I get to see it for the first time in like a gorgeous museum where the Muppets are kept is like a dream. So
yeah, that's it. Some say it is their home. Some think it is their prison.
I do want to see it with an audience. That is going to be
me too.
At the end of the month.
Thank you, Adrian.
With an audience.
Thank you, Adrian. I'm also in Adrian's new movie, Special Needs Revolt.
Yeah, he before he went live, he wanted to thank you. Actually, thank you, Dylan, for helping supporting on Special Needs Revolt. I wish you success.
Thank you so much, Adrian. Thank you, and of course, I wish you success with Special Needs Revolt. And I can help you set up a New York screening when it's done.
Sweet.
New York City, I mean.
Yeah.
He's in upstate.
So for people who didn't know what we're talking about, they're like, what are they talking about? They're going to show the movie somewhere where the Muppets are hidden or imprisoned. So March 30th at the Museum of the Moving Image, which is a really cool name.
Yes.
So all of you will be there?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I think so. I will.
Yeah.
Wouldn't miss it.
So Amanda, I know you've seen I assume you've seen the finished movie, but have you actually watched it with people?
Cut of it, right, Amanda?
I mean, I haven't really watched it. Like, I want to see it for the first time in the theater, and I've looked at it a little bit. I saw the cut he
lived it
2 years ago or a year ago.
Yeah, because there were a lot of cuts of film.
Yeah, so I didn't really. I have no idea what I'm in for here, but
that's the best way to see it, though, with on the big screen with
I wish I could do that, because I'm also the editor of the film. I wish that my first time would be a Museum of the Moving Image.
Yeah.
Dylan's like, I never want to see this movie again if I watch it.
Like, when you're the editor, yeah.
If someone can help erase Dylan's memory.
Now, Dylan, did you edit this or did you have help editing
I
it?
co-edited, and thank you for bringing that up. I co-edited it with Phil Skokos. Shout out to Phil, whose birthday I was at yesterday with Jack.
Happy Bat Day.
Happy birthday.
Jack, can I tell them that of your connection with Phil now?
Yeah.
So Jack,
it'd be awkward if he says no.
Jack and Phil actually met through me, which I always think is great when people meet through me, and now they are dating.
Oh my god!
Congratulations!
I love when people meet through my movies and then start dating. I think it's really sweet.
I met Miss Mittens through one of Dylan's movies, Impossibly. Yeah.
You met what?
Miss Mittens I met Miss Mittens.
That's not true.
Impossibly via one of your movies.
I was what, like 6 or 7 when you started Cinema Insomnia?
2001. Were you even?
Oh my god, I was like 3. I was 4.
Yeah.
Now I feel very old,
but thank you for bringing us together, Dylan. I really appreciate it.
I did make my first movie when I was 5. So
really?
That could have technically happened. Yeah. Not a feature film, but I walked around my neighborhood with a huge, comically oversized VHS camera that my mom had won in a teacher's raffle, and kind of just ambushed all of my neighbors and made it a documentary.
Dylan, I feel like is like Ed Wood meets Andy Warhol a little bit.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
The very first thing that Ed Wood filmed when he was 8 years old was the Hindenburg with his home video.
That's
with his
so
home
fucking
film
insane.
camera. So the first thing he filmed was a disaster.
Yeah, he was the one to blame for the Hindenburg. Yeah.
Yes, Ed Wood was to blame for the Hindenburg.
That's so prophetic, unfortunately, for what would have come into his career.
See, Dylan, you mentioned co-editing the movie.
Yes.
Since it was over so many years, what was the editing process like? Because you have so many different things.
I'm never gonna make a movie in this way again. I mean, maybe I will, but not like this. The footage was spread out over like 5 or 6 hard drives. It's like you shouldn't make a movie like this. And at a certain point, I just realized there was so much footage, and I had to keep shooting more for everything to connect and make sense. That I was just like, I can't do this by myself. So this is actually the first feature film I've done where it's not just me editing every single scene. But yeah, also the problem is Phil was editing in Avid, and this is like kind of nerd. I don't know how exciting this stuff is, but Phil was editing in Avid, and I was editing in Final Cut Pro 7, which I don't use anymore. Now I use Premiere. For any people who are watching the movie, that was another thing. I was using like a really old editing system that no one else used. So I couldn't really share my project files with anyone. It was really archaic. Like everything I was doing, I was editing on a super old computer. I still have it, and it actually does still work, but the battery is coming out of it now.
I think you should start saying that was an artistic choice, that you did that on purpose.
I mean, at this point, it kind of is. I don't know. But yeah, no, my next movie, I learned a lot more how to streamline now.
How do you keep
my projects?
How do you keep your battery inside?
I don't. I mean, it only works when it's plugged
string.
in. It just I think it inflated, and now it just kind of pops out of the bottom of the lid.
Heavens!
Yeah.
Well,
you mentioned a large liver.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
You mentioned streamline, and this is runtime is shorter than most of your films, and I would also think having someone else helping edit. I always think if I'd edit all my own stuff, I'd want to keep stuff that I just have a good memory of, even if it doesn't necessarily.
That's what I wanted to do. And Your Groove kind of came down on me and was like, "You have to kill some of your darlings." So
there is such a thing as too much. There is such a thing as too much of a good thing. Certainly.
No, I'm not. No, they were right. I mean. If it were up to me, the cut of the film would be 2 hours and 25 minutes or so. Yeah. That was the original cut of the movie. There was an hour more of material in it. But it's going to be in a second movie called Psychotropic Women, which I've also shot new scenes for with Joe Estevez and some other great people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bill Whedon here. He says, Dylan saved my life with that.
Wow.
Oh, it's Bill.
Bill. Bill, I don't know if I so much as saved your life as I sort of accidentally caused the accident, but then I helped you, and then Bill got a little injured on a set that I was helping on. I was not the director on, and admittedly it was just kind of haphazard, but Bill, if you think I saved your life, then let's go with that.
Take credit for it. Exactly.
Yeah. I'll say this: I'm lucky that Bill's still my friend, and that we've actually gone on to like work together on stuff and be cool. Because I felt really bad after Bill fell off of this hospital gurney.
Oh wow!
That we had, and luckily was really fucking nice about it. So thank you, Bill, for still being cool with me. And we've gone on to we did Adrian's movie together, and you're in Sir Isengard with Amanda. And I love Bill so much. I wish he was my grandpa. And two people I wish were my grandpa in real life are Bill Whedon and I was about to say Jack Bernhard and Joe Estes.
I'll be your grandpa.
You've aged very well, Jack.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, honestly,
Jack is like 85 years old and he looks amazing.
Yeah.
I think of Dylan as one of my kids, honestly.
That's so sweet. Well, also, you literally have a kid named Dylan.
I do.
Oh my
Named
god.
after Dylan.
Yeah. Lobo
That's a
has
coincidence.
Yeah. I always feel compelled, even though it's always a bad idea, I'm always compelled to help Dylan.
Thank you. And yeah, it is kind of a bad idea
in all of his creative pursuits.
I do feel like we have to provide some context because I feel like now we're just kind of having this like really friendly conversation, which I love. But I do feel like people watching are not going to know what's going on. Roller Gators Joe Estevez himself says Avi on my Instagram. It's not
Oh, okay, that's cool.
That's right. Well, I guess I'm responding to him on text, but I just realized he's watching me live. I can respond to him.
Right.
Webcam. Yeah, he's in Roller Gator. Actually, we met Scott Shaw while I was shooting with Joe Estevez for Psychotropic Women in LA. Scott Shaw also stopped by the set. And Scott, I think, produced Roller Gator. He did a lot of stuff with Donald G. Jackson. And he did Rollerblade 7, which Joe Estevez is in, and was one of the first movies I saw with him besides Soul Taker. I was trying to convince Scott to be in the movie, but Scott does not appear in front of the camera anymore, for the most part.
This is
the cheerleader elimination teaser turned out. Oh, wow, there's already a teaser.
Yeah, I don't know how they did that.
That's Stephen Flug.
Oh, okay, cool. It just says Facebook users.
Yeah.
Amanda is back from Texas filming a movie up there, so.
It was a directorial debut by Julie Prescott.
Yeah, Julie.
Called Cheerleader Elimination.
So everyone's going on to do pretty great things. I mean, Jack, I kind of dragged down to do my movie. I met Jack on the set of like a real movie that I was an extra in. And Jack, this is what, like a $1-2 million movie that you were in?
I think it might even have been more than that. But
yeah, it's a big movie. It was an official selection at Sundance called Adam. And I heard Jack talking about Andy Kaufman and Tim and Eric and stuff. And luckily, it was one set where be allowed to approach the principal actors, which normally isn't allowed. And I was basically like, oh my God, like I heard you talking about Andy Kaufman and stuff. I love that. And then Jack, like, I thought I liked Andy Kaufman. Jack, I mean, you like literally like know like Bob Zamuda and like Andy Kaufman.
Well, I know Michael Kaufman. He's Andy's brother.
Oh, Andy's brother, yeah.
And Michael doesn't really talk to Bob very much. But I've met Andy's dad, Andy's sister, Andy's brother, Andy's like nieces and nephews. And I was lucky enough to be like sort of buddies and pen pals with Andy's brother Michael, and he would invite me to all these subsequent Andy events that were very cool.
Wow.
And yeah, I'm very grateful for that because I feel like I got to know kind of like how Andy really was and things like, because there's not a lot about who he really was out there. So
that's really awesome.
Definitely, Andy Kaufman was an inspiration to me as well. I mean, I grew up with him in the 70s and, loved his absurdity and his complete disregard for the audience sometimes.
Yeah, which I maybe to some extent has influenced Spirit Riser too. So I don't exactly know how the audience is going to react. I will say, I do hope that the audience enjoys the film. But
that's always a good sentiment. I hope people
ultimately, I do have to, and this is something I learned, is that ultimately the person that I have to make the films for is myself. And Spirit Riser is a movie for my younger self. I think Spirit Riser is a movie for me when I was a little kid. And that's the movie that I would want to see.
So, along those lines, though, we talked about you started this a long time ago. So what year did you start Spirit Riser?
2017. And it started... I was already going to make it. I had a lot of it planned out already. But it kind of like I jumped into it a little too fast. Because Lynn Lowry was in town already. And basically he was like, I'm going to be in town like these 3 days. So if you want to work with me, and I had really wanted to work with her, if you can schedule a shooting day for one of those 3 days. So I basically wrote all of her scenes first. And that was the first thing we did. And Amanda actually came in. Amanda did her makeup.
Yeah.
And I don't think Amanda was in any of
You do makeup too?
Yeah.
At the time, Amanda's character was actually a little different. Amanda's character was originally written as like a porcelain doll person.
Oh my god, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah,
That's
remember
crazy.
that? It was originally written that you're a porcelain doll that comes to life, and then you start to chip, and then the pieces fall off, and you become human.
I was really excited
for another thing.
I was like, that's how I feel in real life.
Yeah,
it would bring me to the earth.
And then eventually, we kind of changed your character a bit. And also, I wanted to honestly give you a bigger role because I think you would have had a few less scenes, and I wanted you to have more of it.
That was the day that Alan was there, right? We were shooting with
Alan, the late Alan Merrill, who was a good friend of ours, who passed away in 2020, and is just one of the stars of the movie, and Lynn Lowry. It's pretty much all their scenes together. They're the main characters that interact with each other. And afterwards, Alan took her to BB King's, and they hung out a little bit at BB King's.
So cute.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
Yeah, and Lynn's in all kinds of the crazy movies, but if she likes the people making it or likes the script, she's really open to being in some wild stuff.
Yeah, definitely. No, she was really cool. But yeah, that was the first. I realized I'm like kind of not answering your question. That was the first thing we shot in 2017, and then there were definitely some breaks, and then I was kind of like, okay, a big thing I want to do is I want to go up to LA, shoot with Candace and Parker, and I was trying to get kind of a name actress to play the Mrs. Skylace character. And eventually we got Shuri Curry. So that was kind of the big, like, let's go to LA, let's shoot a bunch of things there. And then we kind of came up with the idea of it taking place on two opposite coasts of America, which I like because I do feel like my films are sort of very, like, I am kind of very interested in, like, Americana, and I do think my films are kind of, like, it's funny because I'm really inspired by European stuff, but I do think my films are kind of very American in some ways, or at least very New York. I don't know if my idea of America is skewed because,
right.
But I like pop art. I feel like I mean I like to approach America in kind of a pop art way.
Yeah. What was it like being at Bronson Cave? Because it's got such a history.
We can't be there anymore. It was really hot that day when we shot there. But it was beautiful. I mean, I love Bronson Cave. I got to shoot two different things there. I shot that, and then I shot a video for the band Death Valley Girls there. And that video actually then shows up in the movie. It's kind of part of the film's plot. And they were nice enough to say, you can make this video for us, and you can incorporate it into the film, because they're almost like the part of like the fates. I kind of almost imagine them as these kind of like, as this kind of like Greek chorus where these fates kind of show up throughout the movie, and there's different fates. So thank you, Fred and Holly. I love the picture of like fat Salem from
Sabrina.
Yeah.
It was really surreal to be there because it's just like
it's the Bat Cave.
This is this place,
the Robot Monster Cave. More importantly,
Robot
Monster actor. Yeah, point this way. Yeah.
Traveling from New York with you to LA was a really wild experience too. I mean, I personally had never been there, and we were just seeing all these like cartoonishly iconic places and there, and hanging out with like the chicken heads and all these
Yeah, the
crazy
radioactive
people.
chicken head.
I really want a chicken head back patch. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, and not to mention going to LA and like chilling with Rodney Bingenheimer is just like
Yeah.
the wildest experience.
Oh my god, you have the speaking of Bronson Canyon, Lobo's wearing the robot monster.
I know, I
my
love it.
God.
I'm kind of jealous here, Mr. Lobo.
Oh my
pretty
God.
I must, but I cannot.
I also like that he just happened to have it right there.
It's amazing. Well, that's like a big part of Lobo's show.
Yeah, we have a character called Romana, who is a female robot monster.
Yeah, y'all have a female robot.
And we've had the regular Roman on there too, but I didn't mean to derail it so much. But you were talking about Bronson Caves and Bronson Canyon and all that.
No, that was amazing to get to shoot in such an iconic place. And I mean, no permits, but you don't really need it over there. You can kind of just go there. And I will say, people in LA are a little nicer if you don't have permission to shoot somewhere. For the most part, they'll kind of just be like, "Oh, hey, you can't be here." Just, I mean, most of them I've just been lucky, but
you've been lucky.
Yeah. Oh, you can't move over there, and you can shoot there. And I shot a scene illegally at Dino's Wonder World Park for my movie Dark Prism. Like the guy was like, "Get the fuck out of here!" But then we shot an amusement park in LA for Kansas's movie. Which, funny enough, those scenes aren't in the movie because the film got warped or something, and we reshot it in Times Square. But that guy was just like, "Oh, hey, don't worry about it. Just you can't film here, but just you can go over on the boardwalk and you can shoot there." Which, granted, you're allowed to shoot on the boardwalk in Coney Island too. The boardwalk is public property, so.
Mm-hmm. A cheap plug for the website. You can listen to a Greg Moffat interview from Robot Monster here on the show. What were you saying, sir?
Cool.
Yeah.
Who?
What? I thought I heard. I thought I talked over someone, so I'm sorry if I talked over somebody.
I don't know.
Right.
Whatever, weirdo.
I'm not sure what this is in reference to, but Jazz brings up duct tape.
Jazz, what do you mean, Jasmine? Duct tape? Lol? Sounds awesome. Thank you, Jimmy.
That's always a good thing.
Can you elaborate on duct tape?
Yeah, we need to find out what
Could you elaborate on LOL?
What?
Could they elaborate on LOL, please?
But yeah, I don't know I guess should we ask everyone kind of what their experience is like?
Yeah, of course.
I mean, Amanda's okay. So maybe Amanda should go last because I feel like Amanda is really like you shot a lot of scenes for the movie, Amanda. But Lobo and Jack basically shot like one long day for all of this.
Yeah.
That's how a lot of the cast members.
Yeah, and Lobo was with Abe Lincoln.
Yeah, right.
That's how long ago they started filming.
Yeah,
Abe Lincoln.
I met Abe Lincoln. Yes, I got to meet Abe Lincoln. I didn't. Yeah. Which was exciting because I'm glad that the rumors of his death were greatly exaggerated. But yeah, it was that was a wild day. We met Dylan at their house.
Yeah. Back when I lived with my parents. So you met me at my parents' house.
Yeah, and so it was like we were going to a slumber party or something, Yeah. And then we all had a rendezvous that was a little bit close to the place where we were filming, and then we did this long walk.
Yeah.
Over to where the actual filming took place, and we met a bunch of.
Yeah, because we couldn't park over there because the Caribbean Day Parade. And I didn't know this was happening. The Caribbean Day Parade was happening while we were shooting there because the thing is we couldn't really get access to the actual Statue of Liberty with all those extras because that's kind of like a private island. You have to like pay to get over there. So we shot it at Grand Army Plaza, which has a similar looking monument. And then I did like a digital map painting of the Statue of Liberty later. But yeah,
the base of it, there's some sort of platform there that looks somewhat similar.
It looks exactly like it. Yeah. I also love honestly, if I could have realistically had the Grand Army Plaza statue come to life, I could have done that. But Statue of Liberty, actually, I have it right here. This is from the movie.
Oh, wow.
Evan Parra made this. It's a beautiful. See, now I wish I didn't have the blurred background.
Put it in front of you. Put it right in front of you, and it should
I'm
help.
Turning it
off.
Okay. But this was the beautiful Statue of Liberty model. We had a face, and then the face actually was made of like a more tactile material that we could make fall away in stop motion. And then this one of the strings is still here, and I was able to puppet it.
I love it.
This, yeah. Somewhere we have. I don't know where we have the other doll, but there's also Evan Parr also made the scary doll that attacks Patty Harrison. But this is the main one that we have right here is the Statue of Liberty. The Statue of Liberty comes to life, and it attacks New York City. I also originally wanted it to be the Astor Place Cube, but I wasn't sure if there were some legal rights around that because it was like that's like an art piece by an artist. I wasn't sure if we'd have the right to do that. I should have just done. I love the Astor Place Cube. I really wanted that to be the scary thing that's attacking people. I do feel it's a symbol. It's a symbol.
It's a symbol. Yeah. I do feel it's very like filmic. The Statue of Liberty is always a plot point in sci-fi and horror films. I always think of Judge Dredd and X-Men and Ghostbusters, and the Statue of Liberty is always, I think, as far as just in the language of B movies and genre movies, it always seems like there's some battle royale at the Statue of Liberty, or the Statue of Liberty comes to life, or so for me it made total sense that it was the Statue of Liberty.
And it's relatable to everyone outside of New York.
Everyone knows. I was inspired by when I came up with that scene. I was inspired by there was a protester at the time who had climbed onto the foot of the Statue of Liberty, and that felt really poignant to me because the Statue of Liberty is literally supposed to represent justice and acceptance for everyone, and that was maybe a year. It was 2 years after Trump had been elected, and I definitely feel like we're living in a time now where it's actually kind of popular to not accept everyone and to be very, xenophobic and closed off and insular. And so for the Statue of Liberty's face to then be defiled, and it's inhabited by this creature of pure evil, which is the film's villain, the man from the dark and lonely place. And a recurring theme throughout the film is the man from the dark and lonely place kind of possesses people and manipulates them to do evil things. And that's actually, then we can segue in a second into Jack's character, because that's kind of part of Jack's character. But yeah, it's that felt kind of poignant to me ultimately, that and then Lobo's character is supposed to be this kind of like preacher protester, a little bit inspired by Reverend Billy, who I don't know if anyone here knows who Reverend Billy is. Look him up.
Dylan, I couldn't remember. Did I improv any of that, or was
I actually wrote all your lines?
You gave me all my lines
because we had to, because all of your so going back to the thing, all of Lobo's lines had to be dubbed, because we were shooting at the literally right behind us was like the Caribbean Day Parade. So literally none of the audio is usable. So we had to then go back and do wild lines for everything, and I dubbed all of it over. Wow. And I wrote down every single thing that everyone said, all the extras said, and then all of they're all going like, yeah, and that's all just me.
Did it match up?
Pretty much, yeah.
Right.
It does match up. Yeah. I've actually gotten pretty good at like syncing audio. I'm very pro ADR now. I used to not be. Now I'm very pro dubbing, pro ADR.
It's interesting because cinematically people don't realize this, but almost every film that's like pre-1980 is mostly ADR.
Yeah, and it's funny, people are like, oh, it's so obviously dubbed. Every movie's dubbed.
Yeah. It's just very expensive and time consuming to do it properly. If you're doing if you're trying to do that sync dialogue and you're watching your own takes over and over again, trying to get it to match up.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, anyway, so going into the evil possessing people, that's kind of Jack's character in the film, who's sort of this other face of the man from the dark and lonely place. And this was a character that we had from the very beginning. I wanted it initially to be a younger character, and then I felt like Jack was kind of perfect because he is very boyish looking. He's kind of like the Leonardo DiCaprio looks, where he could kind of be any age. But ultimately, the original character was supposed to be a lot younger, and then I thought Jack, we could just make the character a little older. And he's kind of this other face of the character. So Jack, do you want to go into your experience shooting your scenes?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely had like one long day at your parents' house.
Yeah.
And then I think I did see you like another day a couple weeks later.
Maybe we did shoot something else.
We did. But the first day, I didn't really know you yet. Like we had only talked in the van filming Adam, the Sundance film.
Yeah, we literally met in the van. And I was surprised when Jack actually said he would be in my movie. Because again, I had really only seen Jack in this big, much, much, much bigger movie. And again, I really feel like I fucking pulled Jack down from
this stuff is where my heart is in a lot of ways, you know?
No, definitely. Now knowing you. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember, I thought it was really chill. I was like, how is this going to work? I was like, how is this going to become in a movie? Like, I'm filmed in this, like, very blue lighting. And it was, I kind of remember my lines sort of feeling like Star Wars lines a little bit.
Yeah, it's like OG Star Wars.
Yeah. And I was very impressed with Summer.
Summer, yeah, she's great.
I met Summer that day.
She has no ambition to be an actress full time, but she said she likes being in my stuff, and she did a good job.
She's just an impressive person, and she was so young back then. Like we were younger too. Obviously,
she's gonna be 20 this year. It's crazy.
Yeah, so she was like barely out of middle school, basically. Or
Summer,
and I just remember thinking she was so astute.
Summer plays Sydney Ryder in the movie. I just realized the background. I didn't even realize the background that we have behind us is the Statue of Liberty with Moore's face in it.
Yeah. She's amazing as the man from Dark and Lonely Place.
Whitney is great, yeah. And I think it's her first role as a man. I say Whitney Moore is the new Lon Chaney. Anyone who only knows her from Birdemic, you got to see her now because she is a force to be reckoned with. She is a great, great actor. Really good actor.
Yeah, she's great.
But I will be the last spirit riser.
Yeah, she's great. She's great. And Edwin Monzon and Cece Anderson did her prosthetics and had the hairline and the jawline to make her look like that. And it's truly a really she looks and she's so unrecognizable that I actually had her cameo in the movie just looking normal, and I don't think anyone's gonna know it's the same person. She cameos as just a walk on, just like she looks around and I don't think anyone's gonna know it's the same person. So now I feel like here's the big one is Amanda, your experience making the movie, because you really, you're the
real
star.
Quick before we get to you, Amanda, I do want to post because Jazz says it was the duct tape was in regards to Dylan's laptop.
I honestly don't even think I honestly don't even think I can duct tape it back, but it's fine. I have a new laptop now. I have a whole new editing suite set up that it's a little more, at least for me, is more professional. So I'm actually trying to be work like a professional now.
No, fair enough.
My next
now, Amanda, your experience on Spirit Riser.
Okay, so I don't know. All right, well, first of all, I don't think me and Mr. Lobo or Jack were together.
No,
unfortunately.
I heard a lot
any
about
of our
you.
shooting.
Jack about
but Mr. Lobo and I first met him when we were in Dylan's movie Reagitator together, and I'm so happy because Mr. Lobo is just such an amazing fairy tale, metaphysical, strange man who has an amazing voice, and I love him. So
wow, God, thank you. I would say the same about you, except for the man part. Thank you very much. Reactivator was an amazing experience, and
that was my last movie for content.
You were amazing in it. And I did the logo for that also.
Yes,
I kind of feel like I don't know why I always push the logo agenda.
There were two logos, and you did the better logo.
When I'm cast in a movie, I'm like, what's the logo for this?
No, and the logo for Reagitator I made, and it was horrible. And unfortunately, it's in the cut of the film. But when we did the Blu-ray, I was like, we have to switch it to
And I do
I'm glad
feel
you
like,
said you made the other one though, because I was feeling bad for whoever made the other one when you said that Lobo made the better one. So
No,
if you're insulting your own logo,
Yeah.
it was me. I did a very bad job. I made it. Yeah,
and again, this is-
animated. Sorry.
Well, we're here to talk about this is Amanda's point in the thing, but anyhow, Reagitator was kind of, I think, the first thing that we were in to get.
Yeah, I mean, you're also not on
really
set
together. We're not on
more
set
like the
together.
narrator.
But I'm a big fan of Amanda's work in general.
Yes.
I think that she just she's just
Amanda's also
she's
a
just
fan of her
magic.
own work.
You know, she's just magic. She's a B movie royalty for sure.
Yes, definitely. And becoming more well known, I think, as the days go by.
Oh God! If okay, well, listen. All right, so I'm very bad at talking about stuff. Okay.
Also, Amanda, it's okay if you
What?
You can talk a little bit about how, like, definitely not all of the filming was exactly pleasant for.
No. Here's the weird part. All right, so we get together, we go on the plane. It's crazy. I don't know how to fly on an airplane. Now I'm better at it after doing Julie's film, the cheerleader elimination. I am brave now. But back then, this is like 500 years ago we shot this. We get in the airplane and it's like all of a sudden we're in LA and it's like we're going.
Because we had never gone that far. Like, even when we made Reagitator, it's like, I mean, we were going out to like Long Island and stuff, but we never were going like out.
We're going to Long Island. Well, Kansas is like this amazing.
We were literally in an abandoned asylum that we were sneaking into through a hole in the wall. So,
oh heavens to Betsy!
Never again. But
was it Pilgrim?
What?
Huh?
Pilgrim Asylum?
No.
Oh.
No, King's Park Asylum.
Oh, King's. Yeah.
Hopefully, I don't get in trouble now that I've admitted it on air.
So Kansas is like this incredible person that I don't like, just does all these mystical, historical things all the time. So we're like meeting up with Kansas, who and her sister Parker, who are also in the movie.
Historical things?
Huh?
Who's the person?
Well, we shot in these amazing places.
Oh, yeah,
the place with Rodney.
Yeah.
They took us up to this like VIP secret place where like
the Rainbow Lounge.
Mick Jagger. What was that called?
It was the Rainbow, and inside of the Rainbow was the Vampire Lounge or the Vampire Clubhouse, which was like this tiny room. That it was like Keith Richards and like Keith Moon and all of these.
All the famous Keiths were all there.
My dad, Keith Greenberg, who actually my dad does love to go to the Rainbow Ways in LA, but
it's like a secret little tree house inside there.
I've actually been to the room that you're talking about,
and we shot inside of there. Yeah.
And Rodney,
which is very hard to do because they normally do not let you film.
It was really cool. No, we definitely got like some special privileges to shoot a lot of interesting places because of the people that were associated. Yeah, Rodney literally brought us into that Vampire Lounge, which was
Amanda, what was the first film that you did with Dylan?
What was it called, Dylan?
Wakers. Yeah,
which was when Dylan and I were neighbors in this. We lived in neighboring communes.
That's when
you're basically Dylan's divine.
A little bit, yeah.
Dylan
and Josa also kind of is. I mean, Josa isn't anyone's divine. Josa is just divine. If you know Josa,
I'm Dylan's Criswell, apparently.
Mr. Lobo is like the narrator of our lives.
I would say I didn't discover Amanda as an artist, but I did discover Amanda kind of as an actor. Because Amanda, you hadn't really acted in any films before me, right?
I mean, not really, but I was doing like my background is like weird performance art.
Right. Like Amanda was doing art way before me. I mean, when I was like a little baby, Amanda was doing art.
And then actually when I first moved to New York, I made my drama teacher give me a note. Like I was like, "Oh, write me a note because I'll study acting." And she was like, "Yeah, Amanda is an actor and please help let her be an actor for you. I wish I still had that because it's so funny,
cute,
but
yeah.
I didn't even, I don't know, I just forgot about that completely when I moved here and started doing like weird, like Polish performance art for like 10 years.
Polish performance art. Wow.
No, we got it.
How many
There's a whole
performance
other side
artists
to
would take
Amanda
you
that
through in a light bulb? That's what I want to know.
It depends on what substances they're using, I would imagine. Who's Puppy Sloot?
Puppy Sloot is my friend Tara from New Village
yeah.
Video, who
Hi,
has a
Tara.
lot of cool stuff on there.
Yeah, New Village Video actually has a lot of our movies on there, Amanda. The Reagitator is on New Village Video.
Why
Is
isn't
Jack-
Insomnia on New Village Video?
Is Jack in Psychotropic Women also?
Fuck, I actually... Yes, because the triangular door is going to be part of Psychotropic Women.
Yeah.
We made a mini short film.
I'm
and-
certainly in that then. Yeah, that was a fun day.
Yeah, we made a mini short film. So it's crazy. It's like Psychotropic Women is going to be like a tapestry because we have the original scenes from Spirit Riser. We have new stuff that we shot. It's going to be a lot more surreal. I don't have anyone. I don't have to really answer to anyone for this one, so it's really going to be all me. And I can get, if you think Spirit Riser is weird, you haven't seen anything yet. But I also shot a short film called The Triangular Door, which fits into the Psychotropic Women universe. And like the Psychotropic Women universe is also kind of part of the Spirit Riser universe. It's kind of this whole thing. Psychotropic Women is going to be like almost like an alternate timeline version of Spirit Riser.
Psychotropic Women is Dylan's movie after this, right?
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be a feature or a long short. We'll see.
A long short.
I'm hoping, yeah.
I don't know. Did I say all the experiences? I don't know.
Well, we were talking about we shot in the Vampire Lounge. We talked about shooting. We shot at Bronson Canyon.
We shot in the place where it says Hollywood in the sky.
Yeah,
we went to Hollywood.
Which is like kind of becoming like the most used shot of the movie, because the Museum of the Moving Image has that as their header for the film screening. The picture of the Hollywood sign. Yeah.
How did you get all your the promotions in the subways and in Times Square and all that?
That's my little secret.
Oh, okay.
I can tell you about that.
Uh-oh.
I can tell you about that, just you and me, because
I just think
it's
that's
amazing.
That's exciting.
I also do marketing for myself and for other people, and I'm kind of savvy because again, when you're an independent filmmaker, the person, any filmmakers watching this, when it comes to marketing, even when you sign a distribution agreement, which we just did. By the way, I can't say who, but we have distribution now for Spirit Riser, and we did specifically on Blu-ray. I'll just say this: very good Blu-ray company. I'll put it that way. For people who like to collect genre films, very good. What was I going to say? But yeah, even when you have distribution, the person who's going to give the most of a fuck about the movie is you. And you got to figure out how to market your shit and self-promote your stuff. And I was lucky I learned that from Lloyd Kaufman, from Troma.
Who's also in the movie.
Who's also in the movie.
Which is where I met you. I met you at Troma.
Yes. I already knew about Lobo. I had actually known about him since I was like 12 or so. Because I had been following the Plan 9 remake. And Lobo is one of the stars of that movie as Criswell, but it's not like Criswell in the original Plan 9. Criswell is like the star of the movie in the remake. He actually like goes on the adventure with the characters, which is so cool.
I wouldn't say I was the star, but I'm definitely
the stars. I mean, it's you and the guy from the Mick Garris Stephen King movie.
Yeah, it's definitely
yeah.
I mean, look, my character in Plan 9 has more scenes than any other character. The way I look at it is that the original Criswell was holding it all together from the outside, and this character is holding it all together from the inside.
Yeah.
But
I knew about you already because I was following updates on the film.
Yeah.
And I think by the time you finally came to Troma, it had like very recently come out, because that's another movie that took like probably. Did it take even longer than Spirit Riser?
Yes, I did the voiceover for the teaser in 2009. Then we shot it in 2011, and then it came out in 2016.
Yeah, and that's a much bigger Very big movie.
But you know, I see now. I thought maybe you might have been familiar with Cinema Insomnia, but no.
I was a little familiar, but the Plan 9 was the thing I was most familiar with. I did know you were a horror host, and I think I had probably even seen a little bit of Cinema Insomnia, but the main thing I knew was Plan. Like, that's how I found out about you initially.
Yeah. Well, I think that's where we both connected as Ed Wood fans.
Yes, I'm a big Ed Wood fan. And
It's
I was
so
actually going to
weird
say,
how there's this Ed Wood connection, like, and with Jack too. What is that?
wait, what's with Jack again?
Wait, weren't you?
Oh, I
wasn't
do like
Jack
Ed
talking
Wood,
about Ed
Andy
Wood?
Kaufman's, where
Andy
Oh, it
Kaufman.
was Andy Kaufman. I was
What
wrong.
I was going to say, I
similar in a
Jack,
way.
I think Jack Bernhard is kind of my Lyle Talbot. Jack is a little bit like, it's like he's in all this big stuff. Like, why is he even doing my little movie?
I love your stuff. My heart is with your stuff, and my heart's with you. That's
for
very
context,
sweet.
for people who don't know who Lyle Talbot was like this kind of just like solid working actor who was in a lot of bigger stuff. And even when he was doing Ed Wood stuff, he was like a main character on the Ozzie and Harriet show. But he just would still do Ed Wood's movies. I think he was just a chill guy. So he's in basically every Ed Wood movie, even though he was in much bigger stuff.
Along those lines, though, Jack, was there anyone who tried to talk you out of doing Spirit Riser? Like people you
real question, though, managers like, and agents and stuff.
Really, no. I have really great managers, and they think all of Dylan's stuff is great. And
someone got mad for another movie that you did.
This
right?
For me, it was just this weird time where I was just recently. I was like, I like slipped this in right before I got into SAG.
Yeah,
because once you're in SAG, you can't do independent stuff without permission.
Which has,
and I'm really lucky that I get to have a film that I'm in come out this year, but there's no like SAG issue because it was filmed before SAG.
Yeah.
So and I remember being really nervous about how that was going to time out.
Well, I told you if
it
there
all
was
worked
an issue, I would just credit you as Jacques Bernhard.
I wanted it like on my IMDb and stuff because I
add just a random middle initial, then you're a totally different actor.
That's actually wow, that's really true. Yeah. And then if you put the K back on my name, there's a dead director named Jack Bernhard.
Oh,
so I could be the ghost of that guy. Who knows?
Jack, how did
you off?
Jack, how did you? I want to know how Jack met Dylan.
I would
say. We were on set of Adam, and we were in a transpo van just talking. And Dylan told me this like
star of the movie, and I was an
wall
extra.
story about going to a club and like somebody shot lipstick out of their asshole or something.
That was probably. I was like, that's
Amanda
like
was
what
there.
Dylan does.
Amanda was there. No, when I was like a teenager, I used to do these crazy performances. I was like honestly trying way harder to be shocking than I am now.
Wait, is this the Staten Island thing
Yes.
where you did the lipstick butthole?
So Amanda can.
I was there.
Yes, one time I did a performance art piece where I shot a tube of lipstick out of my asshole. And it, like,
That was one of the most
shot
brilliant
out.
things I've ever seen.
Yeah, and I thought, yep, I'm gonna work with this.
That's a good band name, by the way, the Lipstick Buttholes.
Like honestly, I was definitely like kind of like cringy, like trying to like impress you, Jack.
Oh my!
I just admire anybody who is like, yup, I am making a thing. I'm doing this on my own. I have a vision, and I am confident that this is going to work out. And of course, I loved that you had interests that I didn't have a lot of people like in my age bracket liking around me either. You know?
No, it's hard to be in your 20s. We were just
and you have such a distinct style, and so I was like, yeah, this is like kind of more where I keep saying it, but where my heart has always sat, like the things that I like in life and stuff. So, yeah, that's
art.
Oh, that wasn't Coke; it's Vicks Vapor.
And Adam was a great experience, and Adam is kind of the other side of what I would consider to be like the work I want to be doing. You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Big indie movie. It's on, I think, Prime.
It's very much like a queer canon indie movie now.
Sundance official selection. South by also maybe.
Not sure. It did a lot in like Japan recently. It still keeps going. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. And Jack also starred in the Crackle original show In the Vault.
Yeah, it's like a first year college kind of teen murder mystery series, which was a blast.
Yeah, really good.
And we worked together on Adult
like
Swim.
Riverdale a little.
It's
a little like
Riverdale. It gets compared to a lot, yeah. But I would say the acting style is more realistic than how Riverdale is kind of cartoony. Yeah, but that was several $1 million. That show, that was crazy to work on. I mean,
But again, I'm saying is Jack really did not have to be doing my shit, so he really is my Lyle Talbot.
Well, it's very nice.
Adrian
I'm just always glad.
How did you get Michael Madison? That's my little secret. That's my little. But he was very nice. Michael Madsen was very nice. I can't exactly say how we got him, but we'll just say a lot of people were really nice and they did us some favors. I'll put it that way. And Dylan is so talented.
You're very persuasive, Dylan.
That's a good answer.
Very persuasive.
Yes, I also am very persuasive. That's part of it.
All Dylan has to do is shoot lipstick out of her butthole, and everybody's like, "Okay, I'll do it." No problem.
Michael Madsen was like, "I am in."
I'll do it.
So I don't want to get ahead of the movie because you said like there's a distribution deal. I know you can't talk about that, but after the premiere on the 30th, are you going to play other festivals or what's the plan?
Yes, Spirit Riser is an official selection now of the Athens International Film Festival, Athens, Ohio. But it's great. It's part of Athens.
Hell yeah!
It's part of Athens University.
Jack loves it.
There. So obviously my film's playing out of competition. They shouldn't have, but there are film festivals where jurors' movies play and then they of course win all these fucking awards. I'm glad that my film's out of competition because I don't like that. I don't like bias, even if it's towards my own movie. I don't like that stuff. But I'm gonna be there. It's playing April 12th. The festival, it's an almost 2-week festival. It's going from April 6th to 15th, so I guess like a week and a half. And it's also playing Gardena Cinema, kind of in the LA area, April 26th. We're super excited about that. For anyone who's seen the film They Call Me Dolomite with Eddie Murphy, the big scene where everyone goes and sees the movie was shot at Gardena Cinema. It's a beautiful old vintage theater, 800 seats, really, really gorgeous. And then it's going to also play on the West Coast at Whammy Analog Media on April 29th. And I do think there's another festival that's going to be showing Spirit Riser in New York City on the May 4th or 5th, but we don't have that guaranteed yet. I do want to say, Amanda, is there anything else you want to talk about your process shooting the movie and also making it over so many years? Because I felt bad like we kind of cut you off.
Nah, I'm talking. I'm saying stuff. I mean, I don't know. Okay. Let me see. When we first started shooting this, I've definitely developed more as an actor over time, and Cherie Curry was a big part of that, actually. Working with her, she taught me a lot about how to be on camera and stuff, which is kind of weird. Like, I've never taken any I just taught myself and did a lot of weirdo performance, or I wasn't like an acting student or anything, but she taught me a lot at the time, and she was really interesting to work with. And
she saw something in you, obviously.
Yeah.
Aw, that's sweet. I mean, she was really interesting, and
she's a little like her character in the film. I'll say
she is. She's a lot like that, especially when she pulls out the shotgun.
Yeah.
She's a very powerful lady.
Pre-Rust, but the shotgun that we gave her was unloaded, but it was real. We would never do that again. But she doesn't even fire it in the movie. No.
Has
a shotgun in the film.
It was just a dead old shotgun.
Yeah. It was a little nerve-wracking though. Yeah, never. Now I know. Never ever have live weapons on set. I used to have real knives in my films too. None of that anymore. All of my weapons from this point forward are going to be fake. Even if it looks shitty, better it looks a little shitty than someone gets.
What's the first trauma rule?
Yeah, safety to humans. Yeah, which, yeah.
Oh yeah, safety to people.
Man,
humans,
very safe on that movie.
Speaking of trauma,
nothing happened to injure us at all.
I love how you edited the car chase scenes.
Lloyd was really nice with that. Lloyd was really nice with. He's let me use some of their scenes. Yeah, well, you know what? I was actually inspired by. Well, I mean, a lot of older films do this where they've, for budget reasons, they use footage from other movies that have vehicles or anything with kind of a bigger action scene that you can't afford. And then obviously Troma themselves also uses the Kabuki Man car flip, because Kabuki Man was one of their most expensive productions because they had co-funding with Namco. So they were able to do stuff like the Kabuki Man car flip. They're smart, they're economical, and they figured we'll use this car flip again. And it is funny because, of course, when they were reusing it in the 90s, it's a little harder to tell that's being reused. But now it's just a joke, because obviously it's a vintage car. It's totally ridiculous. But what's funny is, and I've now worked on 2 Troma feature films, every time they have to find that car to have someone in it. They have to keep finding people who own vintage cars to put someone in the car.
You think they should just buy one?
Yeah. But
I have to say, for anyone who's worried that they won't be able to follow the plot of the film, listen, there's a lot of stuff going on, but at its core, it's like a beautiful psychedelic fairy tale, like a hero's journey. And it's just very visually whatever. And then also,
it's visually whatever.
Yeah,
that's gonna go on the visually whatever.
Whatever. Well, I like Voices from the Balcony did a review of the film, and they basically said this movie is kind of impossible to review. On the fucking cover.
Yeah, no, I like that.
Which was their review, right?
Basically, I mean, no, they did have some nice things to say.
Yeah.
They also, oh my God, wait,
I do think we have a very unfair assumption of movies that they have to be put together a certain way or have to have a certain kind of formula, even on the basic level, when they're like, well, it doesn't have a 3-act structure. Actually, everything does: a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Definitely.
I mean, Spirit Riser has that, I think, for sure.
No, and I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm just saying that I think that when people watch a movie, if they're challenged at all, I feel like that there's somewhat resistance, and I think it's a shame, because there's so many ways to make music.
Agreed.
And there's so many ways to appreciate art, and some things are about a vibe or a groove or a feeling, and does it capture that intention? Does it capture that idea that Dylan had from the start? Does this movie capture that intention and that feeling? And it really doesn't matter if it connects all the dots in the ways that the audience expects. Because it's not the audience's story, it's Dylan's story.
Yes. Yeah. But ultimately, I do think to some extent, sorry, I'm going in circles here, but yeah, I mean, I think it's also a thing of, sometimes I think there's a value. Well, I say this a lot. There's a value in confusion. I think that confusion is a feeling like being scared or being thrilled. And I actually like being confused because it makes me think. One of my favorite movies is Mulholland Drive. And I like that it's kind of confusing, because ultimately there's no answers in that movie, or there's some, but a lot of it is you have to come up with the solution to your own questions, and then it makes you think more about the film. And I think that's fun. It's almost like a scavenger hunt or something.
I thought I hated that movie, but then I couldn't stop talking about it for 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. And then I changed my mind. I'm like, I don't like this movie. And then I literally couldn't stop talking about it for 3 weeks. And I'm like, no, what? I think I do like Mulholland Drive.
I was like that with Inland Empire, but it's because I first saw it when I was like 12.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't get it. What the hell? And then I rewatched it recently. And not only, I'm not saying I get everything, but I just realized it's really funny. like David Lynch is totally. I mean, it's not all a comedy, but like David Lynch definitely like was deliberately doing like comedic stuff in that movie. You just have to kind of pay attention, and I wasn't paying enough attention when I first saw it. But yeah, I mean, and that's the stuff I like. And I mean, you know, one of my favorite movies growing up was Gummo, which is a very nonlinear movie.
This is why everyone needs to see Spirit Riser 26 times.
That's right. One for each letter of the alphabet.
And then eventually you'll like it.
Exactly. Yeah. If I lock you in a room and that's the only movie you have, you'll start to like it.
Yeah. And after 26 times, if you don't like it, all right, it's not for you.
Not for you.
Actually, this is really nice. Monica Casanova just commented on my Instagram stream, because it's also streaming to my Instagram. Confusing is good. My beloved Nick Zed liked and got inspired himself. Being confused because it's mysterious too. Yeah, and also a big inspiration for me was Nick Zed. To be clear, Monica, who's commenting on my Instagram stream, is the widow of the late Nick Zed, an amazing filmmaker, someone who inspired me to make my own feature films, and also someone who made things that were very transgressive and confusing and weird. And then someone mentioned Werewolf Bitches before. Nick and I got to work together on Werewolf Bitches. And, you know, I definitely took a lot of inspiration from Nick. I don't know if anyone here has seen any of his films. Has anyone here seen Geek Maggot Bingo by any chance?
I'm not, but I love the name.
Yeah. I know you. You've seen it, Lobo?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So yeah, this is not a place where mentioning Nick Zed is gonna just give confused looks. But yeah, big fan of Nick Zed, huge inspiration to me, definitely on this film and everything I've made. He was an inspiration just to even for me to start picking up a camera and making my own stuff in the way I started making it now.
Yeah. How about yourself, Amanda? Who are some inspirations for you to become an actor?
Good question.
Oh, goodness. I don't know. I mean,
like a Warhol
I was inspired. What?
I said you feel so much like a Warhol superstar to me, and you worked for one.
Well, I did. When I was younger, I was an apprentice to Ultraviolet, who was extremely harsh and intense person who taught me a lot of stuff. And at one point, we used to go and get like carrot juice every day because that's what she would get for Andy and whatever. And she took me aside in front of like the carrot juice stand, and she like grabbed me and she was just like, if you don't stop being shy, you'll never be famous. Like, she's just like this very like amazing, crazy person.
Put yourself out there, but also that's a pretty crazy way of saying it.
Well, she was from like an era where that was kind of her thing. But I don't know. I've always been inspired by people who are sort of like lost crazy Muppets, doing interesting things, like Oscar Wilde, and not that he's an actor, but you know, all horror classic.
Not all of your inspirations are just acting. It's a lot of things. And I mean, again, also certain performance art. My roots were also in performance art. I started performing with Reverend Jen, which is sort of how I ended up meeting Amanda. And Reverend Jen, had me as kind of part of her like performance art scene. And that is kind of how I started approaching my films, is almost as like a giant piece of performance art. And then eventually I started making stuff that...
I like how collaborative your films are, Dylan. Your films are very collaborative.
I love making collaborative stuff. And obviously Troma's films are also very collaborative, and that's an inspiration for me.
Yeah. How about Jack, since you're in, this weird stuff with Dylan, and then you're in some bigger things, so like what would be your inspirations?
Oh my god, a lot of things. I mean, anything from like Andy Kaufman to like a very like actor that I love is Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Oh, the best.
He's my favorite. And he's done some really off the wall things like Happiness, the Todd Solondz flick.
Great movie.
It's
Some
amazing.
people will be very mad at us for saying that, but it's a great movie.
People are disturbed by it, but it's absolutely it's wildly good in my
so
opinion.
So fucked up, but it's amazing.
And then yeah, like of course growing up I kind of had this notion that I loved all this sort of like troubled teen heartthrobby guys from the 90s, like River Phoenix and stuff like that. I like a lot of Michael Pitt's work as like a more modern indie actor. Yeah, just people I felt like I could relate to growing up, and therefore kind of look up to, and they made me think like, oh, I really could be doing these things. But I do love a lot of like broad comedy too. I love like early SNL. I love like Jay and Silent Bob. I love
Tim
like
and Eric. Yeah, I know you.
yeah, Tim and Eric is like the more.
I think for a while you
abstract
kind of
side.
want to be like a Tim Heidecker type actor.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I'll take it when I can get it. It's just not. I mean, I got to work
First
on
was
Adult
being
Swim
too
with you, so that was
Yeah.
the dream come true, literally.
It's just funny because I feel like you're cursed with you being this. You have these movie star looks, and people keep wanting to cast you in these kind of like serious dramas. And I feel like you're always trying to do more off the wall stuff, and people keep giving you like they take you seriously.
Yeah, I feel like once they get to know me, that kind of goes away.
Yeah,
because I'm very kooky. Like,
yeah, you don't want people to take you too seriously. I don't know. Maybe you do. Maybe that's my mistake.
I don't think there's a ton of value in working on a set that's very serious, for example. Like,
no, I think both are good. I think both are good.
Yeah, no, and I'm lucky. Really, in the end, that just means I'm lucky because I get to have these two polar sides, you know.
Yeah.
And how about Lobo? Since you do many different things, horror host, actor, what are your inspirations?
Well, you know, early on, I think I was mostly inspired by. I wanted to be a cartoonist. I was inspired by cartoons and comic books.
You are still.
I am still a cartoonist.
Very multi-talented.
And humor, Mad Magazine and Monty Python and Saturday Night Live.
Hell yeah.
I definitely my soul is in humor, and especially humor that is satirical, where it's has this aspect of being challenging or having some criticism to it, or having some absurdist qualities to it. So I think I think the absurdist aspect and the satirical, anything that's absurdist or satirical, which Dylan's stuff is, I have a affinity for. But growing up, I watched Creature Features, which was
Bob Wilkins,
Bob Wilkins, my horror host, and he was just like a really funny, cool guy on a Saturday night that you'd want to watch a movie with. And there was this inclusion, almost like a kid show host, where it's like, you know, come with me. I'm going to keep you safe. We're going to watch this movie together. And you know, my parents didn't talk to me like that. You know, Bob was the one who was talking to me like that. And he brought me into this world of science fiction and horror and cult movies. And so in 2001, I worked for a magazine called Planet X. We met Bob Wilkins, and we started doing these revival shows with Bob, where we would host like Hardware Wars, and it came from outer space. And
I almost feel like Bob was kind of your Lloyd in terms of like.
He was a mentor to me. He was and encouraged me to be a host. And then I started a show called Cinema Insomnia at our local TV station, and then we went into syndication, and I've been doing it for 23 years now.
And
on
you have
Roku
your own
and have you. I do have my own channel called OSI 74, which you know, I just a curator of a gallery in San Francisco did an audit of my work and said, you know, your work benefits 2,000 artists a year.
That's amazing.
So that means a lot to me, that I have a platform for other artists. Our show's very collaborative. You know, we host a movie, but there's 24 host segments, you know, and I've had Dylan's music on my show. I've had people come on.
As has Neil.
Yes.
I humor my music into fucking everything.
So, you know, so I do feel like, you know, there's this, you know, and the other thing I should say really quickly necessarily about Bob is that Bob was the very beginning of the so bad it's good wave. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Before Mystery Science Theater or before any of that, he was the person who would make jokes about the movie at a time where that was not done.
Right. If something was bad, it was just bad.
And so, you know, for him to say, you know, hey, you might want to see what better show is on the other channel, or, you know, hey, you might want to clean your bathroom tonight instead of watching this movie. That was very countercultural.
Yeah.
And it had almost like a reverse psychology effect.
I am wearing
you wanted to watch the movie more because you wanted to know how bad it really was. And so for me, like trying to do something that's relevant now and in the same and countercultural in that same way, I've kind of put myself on the opposite spectrum where they're not bad movies, just misunderstood. And I'm often trying to defend the movie or stay with the movie. And despite my legs wanting to run, I find myself reaffirming staying with the movie and somehow making my own kind of fun with it, which, you know, as a kid, when these movies were pouring into our house, I was always drawing and performing and playing in the backyard and pretending to be the characters in the mirror and all of that.
Same, yeah.
And I feel like that is part of the experience. You know, the viewer at home is a missing character from everything and is affected by all of it. So there is an implied participation where it's a little bit your responsibility to have a good time with this movie too.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Oh man.
So anyhow, so again, that's a long way around there, but that I suppose all of that comes together. The horror host, the horror movie host, satire, you know, all kind of comes together as to why I feel doing a project with the director like Dylan is very important.
I like what you said there, because I also do a pro wrestling show, and there's so much negativity and the wrestling fans. They just almost like they despise wrestling, and there's a lot of.
Dad's also been on your show.
Yeah, exactly, and there's a lot of negativity in the horror community. It's more positivity, but there are people who like, oh, everything sucks, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I always wonder why do you even people like that? Why do they even follow something if they hate it so much? Like, you know, like go and do something you enjoy.
I can tell you in one analogy. People who love science dissect frogs. They learn everything about the frog, but the frog dies.
True.
And I think that fans hold on to the things they love so tightly and over scrutinize them and over intellectualize them that they forgot the 8-year-old that discovered all of those things and when you're 8, you know, we always say, oh, the movies were so much better when I was a kid. No, the movies weren't better. You were better.
Yeah.
You were better when you were 8 years old. You were better when you were 10 years old. You were open. You were accepting. You were creative.
We owe it to ourselves to find that again.
Yeah, and I think that is as a person who curates media and as a presenter and as an actor and as a performer, it's important to keep the romance of the art of it alive.
Remember when you're like,
that we have you on, because I feel like I would just be like stuttering my way through this. Like you're like dropping like amazing deep like truths about the human condition. Amanda, I did want to say, I hope you didn't get cut off too much, because I was hoping you had a chance to talk about all of your influences still.
Well, like I said, I mean, this is, we're not here to talk. Maybe I'll come back and we'll do a Cinema Insomnia episode at some point.
Yeah, that'd be great.
But
I was saying Amanda.
Amanda's influences. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I was just saying, did you get to talk about everything yet, or?
Well, you guys are so good at talking about that kind of stuff. I'm just like, I don't know, like Muppets existing.
Muppets are great.
Yeah, we all love Muppets. So
I'm just like a black like.
What's it like for you, Amanda?
She was just. Oh well, you're asking a question to Amanda. Okay.
Yeah, I was just wondering for Amanda, what's a feeling like to know you're going to go watch your movie and with an audience? Like, is that all positive? Like, oh, I'm going to see the movie. It feels like to me you might be nervous to watch like your own stuff with people.
I mean, it's a necessary evil to see yourself as an actor. You have to watch it. You have to listen to it. I don't know, maybe some people secretly love that about themselves. That's definitely not me. I'm not like the kind of person who enjoys being perceived. And yet, like, what I like about acting and doing these things is like world building, I guess. And being in, to me, that's like a very important part of life, is like creating and bringing forth like whatever alternate realities we have in our minds like into the world. And I want to be a vessel for that. But like I don't know, it's fun, it's exciting. It's like, you know, what else are you gonna do? Eat a hot dog and
you can watch Spirit Riser and eat a hot dog.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
I'm very excited.
No.
That's a hard line. David Lynch has the thing where he doesn't want you watching movies on your phone. You can watch the movie on a fucking Apple Watch for all I care, but don't you dare eat a hot dog.
All right.
Don't eat a hot dog.
No, just kidding, please.
No hot dogs will be permitted to any screening.
Watch the movie while eating
Spirit
any
Riser.
food. I just want people to fucking see it.
It was interesting. Briefly on the logo, you had said it's the same font as Reagitator.
Yeah, Banguia. I love that font.
And Banguia is kind of the spirit. Stranger Things uses it. It has a sort of Stephen King-esque, 80s-esque sort of look to it. But I definitely wanted to kind of portray the bigness of this, the seeming adventureness of this movie. And I did look at a lot of like 80s kind of movies, but I love the fact that it's not the, like, I almost feel like this is like it looks like something that would be on a VHS box.
Totally,
It's not the
we're gonna do a VHS release for sure.
It's not the main studio's version of like a high budgeted adventure movie logo. Right. It's maybe the other studio's version of that, or a smaller movie's concept of a big movie or a big story. You know, I wanted to give it a somewhat handmade look to it, even though it's supposed to be very epic.
I love that, because that's the idea. It's a handmade epic.
I definitely think of here's the Reagitator. Yeah, the Reagitator logo. Yeah.
And the same poster guy, Pete
Wallbank.
Great art on that. But anyhow, so I definitely wanted to put a little bit, almost like it's sort of airbrushed, and there's a little bit somewhere between like Andy Warhol's Frankenstein and Superman the movie, somewhere in between those two things.
Thank you, Jack Russell. And also Jack Russell Terriers are an amazing type of dog.
We love dog.
Sorry, I just realized, I hope you don't consider that as insulting.
No, I know Jack.
Okay. Yeah. He's nice. He's a nice guy. I also like that I love logos where things are like zooming in with a trail behind them. And I love, one of my favorite opening credit sequences is Superman, the 70s.
Yeah. I definitely took some Superman in that. There's definitely, it's like I said, Superman meets Flesh for Frankenstein.
Yes, absolutely. And I love
it looks like a comic book mixed with a metal band logo.
I want to see a kid trying to draw this on his trapper keeper.
It kind of looks like a little guy. Like, I thought that was like a little pimp.
It's so cool, man.
It's like a little pimp, like walking all around. It looks like a dagger. I'm referencing something. If anyone knows,
I know. I didn't know. You.
Will we ever see that on merchandise? Will we see a Spirit Riser?
I think so. I mean, merchandise besides like the movie.
Yeah,
I think there will probably be some merchandise. I mean, initially I was hoping we could even do toys. Possibly, I'm talking about possibly doing a video game, maybe. With members.
You should buy a bunch of plastic Statue of Liberties and just put the Spirit Riser logo on it.
That's awesome.
That's pretty good.
Actually a really good idea. I could just vandalize the face.
Exactly.
Honestly.
Yeah.
It's a really good idea, actually.
I'll take my usual cut.
Yeah. No, that's actually a really good idea. Veda, myself, and my mom are in. Oh, thank you. And just like people are tuning in. Thank you, Adrian. That's cool that you're with Veda. Hi, Veda.
Hi.
That's cool. The Rochester gang are all checking it out.
So, you mentioned Lloyd Kaufman a bunch of times, and he always comes up on the show because many people have worked with him.
I mean,
I either get very negative reaction to Lloyd Kaufman or very positive. My opinion is it depends what you think you're going to get from working with trauma.
Well, and also I think that most great artists are very polarizing. And
trauma is like beautiful. Trauma is like this great thing of energy that makes people want to make stuff and learn about it when they're young. And Lloyd's a really neat guy.
I think he's written so many books encouraging people to make their own movies, even when in theory that could be his competition. I think is really a testament to his character. Is that he encourages people to make their own stuff. He doesn't gatekeep. And he shows how he did it, and he interviews a lot of other filmmakers about how they did their stuff. You can see a lot of stuff on his YouTube channel and also his VOD service Troma Now about how about all of his make your own damn movie interviews. I think the most important thing you can do if you're a Troma fan is you can learn from them. It's really a filmmaker's company. Like, I feel like a lot of people who are fans of
it's
Troma,
almost like Second City or something. Like once you sort of, as you're coming up in your development, you sort of sharpen your teeth in that
definitely
climate.
Yeah.
And it's part of you. You know what I mean? It's like I feel like James Gunn has that little bit of trauma in him.
He totally does.
And Parker and Stone have that little bit of trauma in there. It's like that experience kind of forges your point of view a little bit.
I mean, Suicide Squad is basically a big budget remake of Troma War.
It's an awesome movie, but it's probably my favorite comic book movies. But when I had Liam Regan on, I'm friends with.
I don't usually like comic book movies, and I love James Gunn's Suicide Squad.
Yeah, and I hated the one before that.
Oh,
but
God. Oh man, that one was very misunderstood.
Yeah.
So
that's a nice way of saying it.
When I had Liam Regan on, who made My Bloody Banjo, and he just did Eating Miss Campbell.
I have a song in Eating Miss Campbell. And we got to go to the New Jersey premiere, and we rode a magical boat there. Me and Amanda and my partner rode a magical boat to New Jersey to see it.
Yes, we did.
I love
it.
It
was really pretty. It was like a beautiful experience. We rode the Sea Streak over to Jersey.
Liam's so neat.
Yeah, I love Liam. So I met him at Fright Fest of London. But what I was just gonna say was he says he used Troma as his film school. He didn't get paid to be on the movie, but he learned how to make a movie being there.
Yeah, I didn't go to film school. I turned down a scholarship to SVA. One, because it would have been really expensive, even with the scholarship. But two, I got offered a job at Troma, and I figured that I can literally get paid to learn, So you don't get paid that much, but you are getting paid to learn, and I definitely learned a lot.
Yeah, and it's a lot cheaper than going.
Lloyd will even admit this himself, what not to do. But that's part of it. I mean, Spirit Riser also, there's a lot of lessons I learned about what not to do. I made a lot of mistakes on this movie, and some of them are happy accidents, and some of them are just accidents.
Mistakes are how you grow. Mistakes are vital. Mistakes are how you grow. It's how you establish your style. It's how you establish what's important to you. It's how you develop. I mean, you have to be fearless creating. If you're always editing yourself on the front side, you never get anywhere. Nothing's ever finished.
Yes.
Nothing's ever good enough. Nothing's ever perfect enough.
Definitely.
Yeah, and not to spoil anything, but Lloyd does get his Jesus on a pogo stick line in the movie.
I wrote it for him because I knew he was in the state anyway, so I figured I might determine where it happens.
Yeah.
Having Lloyd in a movie always seems to be a mixed blessing because he never quite does what you ask him to do.
No, I wrote the character for his personality.
Yeah.
I wrote it so that he'd be kind of playing his Lloyd character.
People always try to cast him as a straight, he's going to be the mayor, or he's going to be the, he's going to be the president or the mayor or the teacher. It's like it never, it often has mixed results because it's just like bringing the Tasmanian devil onto your set and then trying to get him to reel it in,
That's so funny.
No, I didn't expect him to reel it in. I actually wanted for this movie for him to have an actual character and not just be a cameo, because I wanted there to be a reason for everyone's appearance in the film. So his shoot was a multi-day shoot, and we actually a lot of the scenes are also he has a relationship with Alan, like they're old friends in the film, and I actually had Alan come back and we did some new scenes too because yeah, and I wanted his character to just kind of be based on how he's like as a person, so that it makes sense that he's like that in the movie because that's his character as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this might have been the first.
And I think Lloyd thinks of you as his protege.
I mean, he has a million proteges, but I'm happy to be one of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
my own experience for my first feature film, Once in Future Smash, I asked him. It's a mockumentary, and so I asked him to play himself in his role, and he didn't even reply yes or no. He just sent me the footage. He just went and filmed and sent it to me. I was like, oh, cool, thanks. Yeah.
I'll say this: that's a little bit what happened with Michael Madsen too.
Really?
Yeah. He didn't really say yes or no. He just sent the audio.
Wow.
And which I think, and then we negotiated some things after, but he sent the audio like right away. He's one of the hardest working guys in Hollywood, Michael Madsen.
Great voice. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I mean, it's up, but when the movie started, I actually didn't know Madsen was involved, and I heard the voice and the narration. I was like, damn, that voice, that's a great voice, and it's got to be. And then I realized it was.
Yeah. Michael. Fuck, I was gonna say something and I like totally forgot.
Although I would have liked that role as the narrator.
Well,
you would have killed it too, for sure.
Lobo's narration envy here, but
you're the
narration
narrator too.
Well, I feel like there's so many few roles for a storyteller or a narrator. You know,
well, I wanted you to have to interact with people in this one because you were the narrator in my last one. And
that's true.
And you know, you're in a room alone, and I wanted this one to be like you interact with other actors.
No, and I enjoyed that. I honor that. You know, especially like even with Plan 9, that was really unusual for me.
Yeah.
Because I was ready to go in there and do the greetings, my friends. We're all interested in
exactly what you do in
you and I. So I was prepared to do that, and then they're like, "Okay, well, Criswell jumps on top of a car and kills a zombie with an axe." And it's like,
yeah,
oh, wow,
so awesome.
And so you know, it definitely, I'm like, wow, I'd love to do more of this because this was really fun.
Also, I wanted to just say, because you mentioned Once in Future Smash, I'm sure you know this, but we should encourage people to donate to Michael St. Michael's GoFundMe.
Yes.
He has a lot of medical expenses right now. And if you're a fan of The Greasy Strangler or any of his other performances, please, you know, donate to his GoFundMe because, you know, he really needs our help right now.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that, you know, you got to worry about getting sick anyway. And then, you know, the idea that you have a giant medical bill just because you got sick.
That's America for you.
Yeah. But if people don't know, Michael St. Michael's and Bill Whedon are the stars of
Once in Future Smash. Very, which I still haven't seen. Very excited to see it.
Yeah. No, but that's great.
Connected. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. Who did you cut off, Lobo?
I thought I cut off Lobo.
No, we were talking. I think we cut off you because you were talking about working on that movie with Lloyd. Your experience.
Oh yeah. Sorry, Neil. I think you were talking.
No, I think we finished. Yeah, he's great. So yeah, the idea, the point was Lloyd. I think is great, and he's also
it's
always willing to help young filmmakers.
I went through the full situation of having a very negative opinion of Lloyd early on.
Weird.
And then warming up to him a lot and loving him.
Well, he's great.
Yeah.
There's like so few of these. I don't know. Like that's one of the things I hate about the modern world is the fact that it doesn't allow, or at least in America, because I noticed it existed in Japan a lot. But like these kind of institutions of people who cultivate a certain expertise of something and they just drill it home like over and over and over again, like Reverend Jen with her troll museum or something.
Right, yeah.
And like there's so few of these things anymore and they keep getting killed off in the world. And I feel like Lloyd is one of these amazing people that exists still, that has this kind of castle of media and ideas, and that's one reason why I feel so thankful to know him, especially.
Same.
So Saturday, March 30th, the Museum of the Moving Image. I'll have the link here below so people can click on it if you're in the New York area. That's going to be great. I had a lot of fun watching the movie Spirit Riser, but I imagine watching with a group of people on the big screen and also having the sound all around you is going to be a really fun experience.
Definitely. I'm very excited for that. Yeah. Still have not had the sound all around me. Are there any final thoughts anyone wants to add?
Final thoughts, Jack.
Friend. Be our friends.
Let's keep the movie that I made with my friends, and my mom said I'm allowed to go to the movie. Yeah, she did. Yeah, she did.
When you say that, now that reminds me, when I was always allowed to see anything I wanted to see, and my mom actually wrote me a note saying that I could go see R-rated movies, and I always kept it in my wallet, and no one ever carded me until I was 40 years old. I didn't have her note anymore, but when I went to see Texas Chainsaw 3D, they carded me, and I was like, "Are you serious?"
Where's my
my
mom?
goodness.
Might have been too scary.
Like, I lost my note.
You kept your note, bucko.
Exactly. And my friend Annabelle's with me, and she's like, "He's got gray in his beard."
Does the note just say, I swear I'm not 4 years old?
Maybe they thought you were like Steve Martin or something. That grace.
Possible. Kind of made me feel good, though. I'll be honest.
Yeah, it's nice. I don't get carded anymore. People think I'm like fucking like 70.
No.
When I'm not wearing makeup, yeah.
Yeah, even
I
at
feel
our
like
you were a pup.
Boy
You're a
Behar
pup
in
to me.
FNL, where he's like, I'm wearing 5 pairs of Spanx. Who cares?
They just want to make sure you're a citizen of Earth.
But yeah, I guess final things. Okay, if you live in New York City, come to Museum of the Moving Image. It's not sold out yet, but it's getting close. It's open to the public. Get your ticket. I'm sure we're gonna have a link.
Yeah.
March 30th. If you are in Ohio, come to Athens International Film Festival, April 12th, to showing Spirit Riser. And if you're in LA, we have 2 chances to see it. We have April 26th at Gardena Cinema and April 29th at Whammy Analog Cinema. So you have 2 chances to see the movie if you're in the West Coast. And hopefully, and there will definitely be more screenings in the New York City, just to be announced. And yeah, stay tuned for Blu-ray release and stuff. Like I said, we just signed it. It's happening. We signed a distribution deal. We just can't say who it is yet.
And thank you so much, Neil, for having us on your show.
Thank you so much. It
It's
was
so
great.
nice.
Thank you guys for doing it.
Thanks for inviting me, Dylan.
I think
And thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Yeah, I'm just honored that you wanted to do it.
I think it's very, very important to support independent productions, independent media, support art, to support weirdos.
I mean, not like really. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I mean, the thing is that, we've kind of, Hollywood, I feel like, has reached a point where they have painted themselves into a corner in a lot of ways. It's exciting to me that there are still younger people who are excited to make movies in the climate that is happening today. And that's the most inspiring thing. When I see Dylan, when I see Tate, when I see these younger people who still have a fire to make a movie.
Tate Hoffmaster context.
Tate Hoffmaster, yes. People who still have that excitement that I had when I was a younger person, not dead inside like I am now. When I was a younger
independent artist yourself.
When I was a younger person and I had that fire, it's wonderful that fire still exists, and it should not be extinguished. It should spread, and I think that it's very, very important that we realize that there is still experimentation happening. There is still creativity happening. A movie can be an experience. It can be experiential. It could be something. It could be a wild dream that we can all share together. And I hope that Spirit Riser is allowed to be that for a giant amount of film goers.
And I hope people give it a chance, because that's the big thing when you're making a movie like this is you just need someone. You just need to give it a chance. And I think some people won't, and some people will, and that's okay.
Yeah. Where can people follow you or the movie so they can see where it's going and when the Blu-ray comes out?
Probably the best way to get updates is from my Instagram, Dylan Mars Greenberg, and then you can follow Amanda on Instagram. It's like Amanda Flowers.
It's just Amanda Flowers
with a bunch of S's.
Couple of S's thrown up in there. You'll find me on Dylan's
Cinema Insomnia on Instagram for Lobo, and then the Jac Bernhard on Instagram. I'm a very Instagram person. I'm like a geriatric Gen Z, so TikTok is a little bit. I use it, but I'm definitely like an Instagram.
Yeah. I made a TikTok, I have to admit. Yeah.
Oh my god!
I have a TikTok.
Good for you. It's so hard.
It's hard, yeah.
I'm too old.
Yeah, I don't update it very often.
Well, actually, Summer of Spirit RISER fame, and also of my sister fame, is a very popular TikToker, and unfortunately, she has not posted any TikToks about Spirit RISER, but maybe she will when she comes to the premiere.
Yeah.
Summer has a very busy schedule. It's hard to get a hold of.
Give her some encouragement, perhaps. Maybe
I will. No, I'll ask her.
I'll ask her. Hey, how about a Spirit RISER based TikTok today?
I thought you'd be like, oh, you still call it TikTok? There's probably like some other term you call it now that I don't know because I'm like old.
Yes.
I'm like a geriatric 26-year-old.
They just call it the TT now.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. They call it Brocktune.
Brocktune?
I don't know if you're talking about old SNL. It's an old SNL, right?
Oh, really?
Mr. Belvedere fan club.
Mr. Belvedere.
Oh, I'm a huge fan of Mr. Belvedere.
But have you seen this SNL? I'm part of the fan club of Mr. Belvedere fan club. There's an SNL skit with Tom Hanks from the early 90s called Mr. Belvedere fan club. That's like the funniest fucking thing ever.
I've not seen
all these like insane people are like obsessed with Mr. Belvedere, and they're like, we have to come up with a nickname to call him, and they start calling him Brocktune.
For me, Mr. Belvedere is a feeling.
You're like on some David Byrne shit now. For me, Mr. Belvedere is a feeling.
Hopefully it's a positive feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's confusion.
Shopping, music is a feeling.
And Annabelle wanted to be here.
Movie.
Was that sorry?
I just said a completely cool multi-purpose movie. That's a David Byrne.
Stories.
Oh, nice.
Your Story is a great movie. David Byrne.
Annabelle really wanted to be here, and she's not met Dylan or Amanda, so
I hope
she
to
wants
meet you,
to.
Annabelle.
Hi to you, Annabelle.
Big
You have
fan
the
of
most
Annabelle.
beautiful name in the whole world.
All right.
Well, it's nice to see Jack. I've never had the pleasure before. Hopefully,
I
we get to
know
meet
this was
in
such
person.
a nice
on
chat.
something.
Very,
It was a
very
great chat. This was
cozy.
like one of my favorite podcasts.
And Amanda, I just think you're smashing. I
I
just
think
watch
you're
you.
the best person in the whole
You're all the
world.
bee's knees. Everyone here.
I want you to like read me like horror movie stories.
I'll read you a story.
Same.
We'll
I
do
need
a
Lobo
story
to
time.
read me a bedtime story.
All right, everybody. I'm going to read Bunnicula for everyone right
Oh my
now.
god! I love
Wow.
it. I have a bunny.
Okay. Let's see here. I have a bookmark here. Smokey the bookmark has been keeping.
Oh,
it.
that's very
Oh
cool.
my god.
Wow.
That night I had an uneasy sleep. Strange noises emanated from downstairs.
So crazy if you just read the whole thing.
It sounded like toenails were clicking back and forth on the floor. It must be Bunnicula making his midnight run, I thought, although I'd never seen him to make a sound. And I smelled the funniest odor in the air, something familiar, though I couldn't place it. As the night progressed, it grew stronger and stronger until finally it tickled my nose and I sneezed myself awake. I jumped off Toby's bed, still sniffling, and headed downstairs to the living room to find Chester to see if he could smell it too.
That's amazing.
Wow.
But what
I love that.
Yeah. Now we have to get Lobo back on so we can find out what else.
I know what happens to Bunnicula, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you so much for reading us that.
Yeah,
That was
amazing.
amazing.
He sucks the color out of vegetables.
Vegetable, yeah, they'll just be like a tiny white tomato that's had all its juice sucked out of it. Yeah.
I love Bunnicula. Wait, I'm going to show everyone before we go. I have to show everyone my bunny.
Oh,
yeah. Okay.
Voodoo.
I'm going to put it as my background. Hold on. I can't. You're not allowed to. I'm holding everyone hostage here. You can't.
We're all eagerly awaiting.
I mean, I just held everyone hostage to read them a page out of Bunnicula. So
wait, it's cropped really.
But 'twas a joy indeed.
Wait, okay. It's
I want to see the bag crop.
It's cropped really poorly.
What is
no!
with the bunny?
Oh god!
The massive fur.
You can't even see what she looks.
Where's
like.
the eyeball?
Wait,
Dylan,
I have to download another picture.
Point to the eyeball, then we'll know what's going on.
Your hands are in the front.
It's
there it is.
What that
That's
is.
the head.
No, I literally, when I see her in person, I can't tell where her face is. I'll see. Sometimes I'll look at a plastic bag on the floor, and I'll be like, "Oh, Voodoo, hi." Wait, okay, one more time, and then and then everyone's allowed to leave. I'm like Phil Spector. I'm holding you all. This is her in a bowl of matzo ball soup.
Oh no!
I think that's a perfect way to end the program.
That's a perfect way to end it. In a bowl of matzo ball soup. Okay, thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, all of you.
And hopefully see everyone on March 30th at Museum of the Moving Image.
Oh yeah.
Unless you're a coward.
Unless you want to miss out on cinematic history.
Exactly.
That's more true. Yeah.
Well, it was always great seeing Dylan and Amanda, and it was very cool to meet Jack and Mr. Lobo.
Very
and
cool.
hope to see you guys all again soon.
Thank you so much.
Thanks everyone for watching.
Bye, Neil. Bye, Nasty.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Trying to hit
Bye,
something.
everyone.
Not work.